a big thing that I hear from a lot of guys is that they've not had success with girls since basically high school, maybe college or maybe university. They've not had any luck since. And this is true for more guys than you might think. And it's a really interesting thing because, coming to my age, 21, 23, 25, you get a lot of guys, more than you'd think, who say, man, I've not had a girlfriend since high school, or maybe never even had a girlfriend at all, or any kind of interactions, meaningful interactions with a girl in their life. And you start to think about why this might be, and it's been a topic that I've been trying to answer for a long time. It's a topic that I really want to make a video about. We need to first, though, look at what most guys' lives look like, because I know guys who are more successful in their 20s with girls than they have been at any point in their life, right? I'm going to say it personally. I don't say it to brag. I don't say it in any sort of a way. I'm just explaining, right? In the last year, I've had more attention from girls than I've had in my entire life. I've had more success with girls than I've had in my entire life. It's been easier. It's getting easier. Girls approach me. I never even approach girls. I never really have, to be fair, but I've never really needed to. But increasingly, this is even easier, right? Lots of girls have approached me this year. And then you get other guys where this is not the case, and life is becoming increasingly difficult in that regard for them. And then you start to look more circumstantially about their lives. And I feel like this is a big factor in acknowledging why this may be. A lot of these guys seem to live like they are still in high school. This is not the entirety of the problem, but it's one of the big factors, right? They still live like they're in high school. I'm hearing guys who spend a lot of time gaming, playing Xbox. I'm hearing guys who do not really leave the house very much. I'm hearing guys who aren't in good shape, guys who have not got their stuff together, and guys who do not have a vision. They don't have the confidence, they've not evolved, right? They're still rocking the same clothes that they would have done when they were 16. They're still rocking the same outfits in general. They're still rocking the same physique even. They're no stronger, they're no bigger. And that is still something that you can influence. I'm not talking about height. A lot of guys think it's a height thing. It's not, right? They don't have the confidence of somebody in their 20s. And here's the thing, a lot of guys are falling behind. The reality of it is, for a lot of girls, when they get to 20, 21 or so on, or even maybe a bit before that, their options start to open up. And this is just the truth of it. Like it or not, it is true in what I've seen. A lot of girls go with older guys who've got their stuff a bit more together, which is fair enough. A lot of girls want the guys who come across like they're getting it together, because not that many girls will want a guy who's 30 or 35 when they are like 20. It doesn't really make that much sense for a lot of people. So this idea, well, all the older men are taking not that true. It's true for some, but it's not true for all. A lot of people want someone who they can relate to. This is true for men and women. But going back to this point, right? Going back to this point as to why most guys, or a lot of guys, are very unsuccessful past high school, is partially because they've not changed their lives at all. All of the guys who I know who have had no luck in their adult life are living like children. Completely. And people say, well, you think it's because I've got low income, or you think it's because I still live at home, or you think it's because I don't have a car. Well, no, because I still know guys who at least one, if not maybe two of the aforementioned factors are still true for, and they still have good luck. But a lot of these guys have not spent time building the lifestyle that they need. They do not have the social confidence to walk into a room and talk to anybody like I'm talking to you guys on this camera right now. They don't carry themselves with confidence. They don't have interesting stories to tell. And more important than anything, they don't get themselves out into environments where they can meet girls that they'd like in the first place, right? You need to think about how people view you. It's not about how you view yourself. I know we've got this concept now that, well, if you think it's good enough, it's good enough. Fair enough. That's true. Until you're starting to attract other people. If you want to attract other people, it's about what other people are attracted to, right? We can lie to ourselves and say, well, it's okay because I like it, but the reality, if you're wondering why you're not getting any girls, and you're not reflecting on the way that you are, the way that you act, and the way that you live in, you're not really contemplating the realities of your situation. So a lot of guys don't grow up is the first thing, and a lot of guys fail to acknowledge their situation. And the reality of it is, no girls who are 20, 25 even, want to date a guy who is 20, 25 himself, but lives like he's a child. It's not gonna be engaging. It's not gonna be entertaining, right? Nobody wants that. So that's a big thing, yeah. I see that the most. A lot of guys say it's a looks thing. Obviously, partially it is going to be, but a lot of these guys do not have adult skills at all. Not any. You know, get some money. Stop playing Xbox all day or PlayStation. Get some skills. And more importantly, get out there into the world. Get out there into the world. A lot of guys have not been social since school. That is another big thing. A lot of guys have not been social since school. I said that twice to emphasize the significance of the point, right? The modern world is exceptionally easy to become really isolated. Some guys are lucky enough, it's happened to me, again, not a brag, just a context, that they can be walking down the street or sat in the park and some girl comes up and says, you know, well, we don't need to go into a situation, but you get the point, right? If that's not true for you, you need to be socializing. You need to be out there in the world, meeting people, interacting. School is the last time that a lot of guys have been forced to get into the world. Because, you know, school, you're a child, you are forced to go to school. Come to 18, 19, 20, you're not forced to go to college, you're not forced to go to university. I'm not saying it's the right path for everybody. I'm not saying, well, go to university. Don't necessarily do that, but a lot of guys do not have to get jobs now. Parents will support them. And this goes back to living like a child, right? So you're living like a child because you are potentially being facilitated to be able to, but that's a different point, right? So you're living like a child to begin with, and then you're not going out to progress and advance your skills, right? You don't necessarily have a good network of friends. You do not meet people on a day-to-day basis. And then you start to reflect on, so the last time you had a lot of success in this regard was when you were social, when you were out there in the world, whether you liked it or not. Or you've not made any progression since that point. Well, partially because you've not grown up, possibly. But then a lot of guys do not get out into the world. I say this, if you're looking to build connections, do not question it. You will, I would say, have to do some things that you're uncomfortable with. Well, I don't want to go to this club on a rainy or snowy Wednesday in the middle of winter like it is now, where it's dark at 3 p.m. Well, what do you want? What do you want then? Jobs are a great way to meet people. I'm not saying that you're going to have necessarily romantic relationships from them, but a lot of guys are not forced to get a job, right? Because they can be supported by parents or whatever. Or a lot of guys are in education for a very, very long time, up to like 25. Say what you want about that, but it's not always the best thing in the world. You need to be in as many arenas to meet people as you can, because online dating, we've spoken about it before, I really don't think it works. I've never really used it, and I can't get engaged by it. It doesn't work for me, and I don't think it works for most guys, right? But take that out of it, right? For a lot of guys, the last time that they've been successful in that regard is when they have been around a lot of people. It's when their lifestyle matched up with their peers. Now coming up to 20, 23, 25, it's very, very true that there are guys who have nice houses, cars, confidence, right? They come with, take the money out of it, they've got confidence, they've got a sense of fashion, they've got nice haircuts, they've got good smelling, colognes or aftershaves or perfume or whatever you want to call it, right? It's not one of these factors, it's all. So you're not in the environments to be successful in this regard, and you're not going to be successful even if you were, a lot of the time. Someone might like you, to be fair, but you don't have the confidence of a man. You don't have the drive of a man. You don't have the lifestyle of a man, right? And when you're 16, 17, obviously it's okay to be 16, 17. That's where you are. But if you are 25, it's not okay to mentally or lifestyle-wise be 16, 17, if that makes sense. You've got to advance your life. And again, a lot of guys do not have the confidence, they do not have the approach, they do not have the connections or the environments to meet people, and they live like children. And they wonder why they cannot have meaningful adult connections. They do not live like adults.